Welcome back to the Back 40 Firewood channel, and welcome to phase 3, the third and final phase of the backyard transformation. So in the previous two videos in this series, I showed how we went from having a silo pit on the property, turning that into a fire pit, and then the fire pit became a recreational pond slash splash pool, I guess you could say. And that we had like that for probably 3 years, I think. And it really worked out well as far as, you know, the recreational part of it, like sitting by it, looking at it, jumping in it. But there was one thing that every year got to be more and more of a problem. And that was toads and frogs. And they would go in there and lay their eggs every spring, and we would have tadpoles all over the place. The other thing we found that after a few years, the river rock that we had on the bottom for the floor was holding a lot of sediment and debris, and like was really kind of making the water cloudy and muddy, and I don't know, it just wasn't clean. It wasn't as clean as we would like it to be. Now, if you were on the live stream last Friday night, I kind of did a quick little walkthrough showing what we all had done. So basically, it was the third and final phase kind of involved two parts. The one part was having this pond back here next to the fire pit was really great, but I wanted to have a way to get basically from the house to the fire pit deck without having to basically touch the ground. So the first thing I did was I laid down some pavers, and we started building a little flower bed with some rocks around the pathway, but this just wasn't working out and wasn't what I had envisioned. And so my next thought was, well, I have access to a whole bunch of pallets. I'll make a little boardwalk, like a walkway out of pallets. So that's what I started doing. I laid down pallets and I put little 1x2 spacers in between the pallet board, so it was more of an even walkway. So this is the original walkway that connected the deck to the old pond, but not the new pond. So in the end, I ended up using these pallets and everything turned out great. You know, it served its purpose. This is what it finally ended up looking like. But like I said, this is what connected the deck to the old pond. So then, beginning of April last year, we started digging up the walkway and we started digging up the pond. My vision for redoing the walkway was to incorporate a little water feature into it as well. So I thought, why not make a little habitat sanctuary for the frogs and the toads? And so I started putting down another liner and adding some rocks and building out and shaping the terrain so that would kind of flow together like a little stream. Then while all that was going on, I was also digging up the liner of the pond because I was going to make changes to that as well. So I took out the liner, and then I started sloping and forming the bottom. Like I wanted to have a shelf for like a little splash area, and then a mid zone, and then a deeper end. So that's what I was doing as well. So we dug up the ground, we formed it. Little boss man here was helping me once we got the liner back in. We started laying down some pavers in the bottom. One of the things that was, I didn't want to do is I didn't want to take away, like the little boss man really enjoyed having, playing with the frogs and the toads and going out at night and catching them and seeing, dragonflies and all kinds of wildlife, and he just liked playing in the water, as you can see here. So this is why I wanted to build this little stream area, kind of like as a secondary pond, a secondary water feature that we could have in the yard, and we could use it for, habitat, like toads and frogs and all the little areas inside the rocks could, things could live in there, and he could play in here, and it would just be a place where our hopes were the frogs and the toads would stay out of the big pond and make their homes in this pond. And it actually worked out pretty good. And it also provided an area for the little boss man, to play with water and pumps and tubes and hoses, and so this is what he and he really enjoys doing this. Like he'll set things up, and you can see there he's got a little waterfall set up, and then just a place that he can get in the water, cool his feet off. And then you can also see here I redid the pallets, and I was actually building out a deck and using actual decking to build the walkway. So I had the two projects going on at the same time, and what happened was I finished up the walkway. So the walkway went from being this, all made of pallets, to being this. Once we finished all the landscaping and planted all the flowers and the plants, and we got the water in there, I had water that would come in from both ends, running off of one pump, and so it was basically like a little stream flowing around this walkway, and it would curve around this area here and then duck under, come out on the other side. So it really turned out great. And like I said, the best part is it was full of tadpoles all summer long. And then the second part began, and that involved digging up the liner once again. So I basically hauled out all of the river rock and stone that I had put in here, took out all of these big rocks, peeled everything back, because what I wanted to do was I wanted to put in a filtration system and a circulation system, which involved getting underneath the liner and running tubes and hose, piping, just so I could have some jets, some return jets from a pump and a filter, and then a skimmer. So we did all that, and then I started to rebuild. And what I did when I rebuilt it is I went and I found some flagstone, and I basically then started to concrete the whole bottom. I had never really done a lot of concrete work, so I was kind of learning as I went, but basically what I did is then just mixed up cement, little batches at a time, came down in here, kind of just poured it, formed it, and so I ended up turning this, the old silo pit, into this. An upgraded recreational pond. And let me tell you, it turned out great. We had flower beds in the front with a little raised rock wall. We had additional flower beds in the back. All the way around it was landscaped. It had, we had plant life growing, rock features, and the deck, I rebuilt the deck so it went right up to the water line. The other great thing was adding the filtration system and the filter and the pump and the chlorinator and the mineral that we add in there. It just really helps keep the water clear and clean, and it's just great to be able to either lay out here on the deck in the sun or get in the water and cool off. And one other thing we added to the deck is we did build this little tiki bar as well. So that's a great place that we like to go out and just hang out. And it's been really nice to be able to basically take like a little mini vacation right in our backyard. And during these times, it's really great because we can get away, but yet be at home. So in the end, it was a lot of work, but I think it was well worth it because we really enjoy it. So there it is. I'm down here now in the bottom of the pit, and there's the bar up there. We're getting it ready now. We're prepping it for our spring fill up. What we'll do now is I kind of got it pretty much all cleaned out. I will start, I will go through and just shop vac like any leaves and pine needles up. But when I do start filling it up, I'm gonna hopefully this year capture like a little time lapse. We'll fill it up, and then one of these Friday nights on the Back 40 live streams, we'll have the grand opening of the pond, and we'll see who is brave enough, little boss man, or maybe Amanda, or maybe me, to take the first jump into the water. So this now is hopefully the last of the makeovers or transformations. There is one little modification I would like to make that I think I might do this summer. But otherwise, this thing now is like perfect. It's paradise in the backyard. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching. We'll see now. Like I said, maybe this summer now, I'm hoping to have more and more of my Friday night live streams out here just for, hanging out by the fire, by the water. Back 40 live streams. It's going to be a fun time this summer. Speaking of the Back 40 live stream, tomorrow night we'll be having one, possibly right out here. We'll see. Maybe I'll do another little walk around and show you guys some more details of how everything kind of came together. So that's going to do it for this video. Hope you Woodhounds enjoyed that. We'll see you next time. Stay safe, have fun, and be cool.